Hey there folks, welcome. Today I'm going to show you how to start constructing a giant 3D letter. You hopefully have all the materials that you need. If not, they're awaiting you here at school. But to start this, you're actually going to start with your graph paper. And the graph paper I did include with your materials. I believe I rolled it up, so it should be in there. And the first step, I'm going to put on my visualizer here so you can see it, is to create your first letter of your name on graph paper. Now the graph paper that I have provided you is already divided up so that you have these 1-inch squares. For this project, you're going to want to make sure that you don't go any smaller across than 2 inches. If you want to go a little bit bigger, you can. You just want to be mindful of how much space you have on the paper. So my first name is Melissa, so I'm doing a giant M. And for me, what I did was I started at one side and I went across 2 inches. And then I figured out how high I wanted to go. And then, of course, 2 inches would bring me to here. And then I had to figure, okay, what's reasonable for the center and then the other edge? So it took a little planning. It wasn't a whole lot of adding or subtracting, but figuring out what makes the best structure. So I knew if I didn't want to go any thinner than 2 inches, I'd have to make this wide enough so it would be at least 2 inches minimum, making the bottom here 2 inches and 2 inches. And by figuring that out, then I was able to figure out the width of the inside and trace around my piece so I could see it, and then I cut it out. That's the first step. The next step in your materials that I provided with you, and you may have different colors, is a thicker, heavier, what we call mat board. You can see it's got some thickness to it. We use this for a variety of things. Oftentimes I will cut out frames so that we can put your artwork, show off your artwork inside them. But for this particular project, what you'll do is you'll be cutting out your letter from the mat board twice. That's why I gave you 2 pieces of mat board. The easiest way to do this, honestly, is to put your letter of your name. If you scoot it towards one edge, then you don't have to cut quite as much. So what you'll do is you go ahead and trace this and then cut it out. So you should have 2 of the first letters of your name. That's the second step. Now mine is only half completed. Okay, I wanted to kind of show you this because I think it will help. So what you'll do is you'll lay down one of your letters, and then you're going to use the little Dixie cups that I gave you and the glue to glue these on. Okay, so if you have hot glue at home and you'd rather use that for this step, you totally can. But what you'll do is you'll take your cups and you'll lay them right across straight edges of your letters. So for me, I think I did something along these lines when I put them on top of my letter. So it looks something like this. So I glued all of these right on top of my first letter M. Okay. Then when that had set, I put my second letter M right on top of this. So you get an inside that looks like this. You can see the inside of the cups right inside the letters here. So that goes through the whole piece. Okay, that's the third step. Then you're going to take this funny looking thing that I gave you. This is actually brown tape on a glue stick. The rolls I got are quite large, and I didn't know how much you'll use. But what I did was I cut off strips that probably were about this big, and I went around my edges first. I did that first. I left this open for example reasons, but you can see on the other parts of my M how it's all sealed up. Okay, so you're going to take this tape and go around it. And then when I got it mostly put together here, I put some long strips on both sides just to smooth it a little bit. If you run out of this tape, and you might, masking tape will work. If you don't have any masking tape, let me know. We'll get you some more of this. Okay? So you want to cover the whole thing in tape. Again, I just left this open because I wanted to be able to show steps. Then in your materials, there's a container of white paint. You're going to go ahead and paint this all white. Okay, so you have a solid white figure. Okay, that's the fourth step. So that's as far as I'm going to go in this video. There are 2 more steps after this, but this will get you started on the construction. And really for today, for the first day, really focus on making your letter on that graph paper and then cutting it out of the mat board. Okay, you guys who are working remotely, you'll move at your own pace, but I want you to have these videos as references. Please let me know if you have any questions so that I can help you with that. But that is how we're getting started with our giant letter project.